What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Tynka Time. Today we got an electrical issue on a customer's four-wheeler, and me and Baker's gonna take care of it here. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so customer brought this four-wheeler over to me the other day and said whenever plug the battery in, it would start smoking from the wiring. So I had to bring it over. This was over Facebook that she was having this problem, and my dog sniffed the problem out right here. Like, it already found it. So what does it need me for? Turns out this ground wire was hooked to the battery positive, as you can see here, and I followed the wire all the way back to the main harness, and it burnt it all the way up. I did disconnect it from there, and I just tried plugging the battery back in. No smoke then, and it actually still has spark. All the lights work, but it's for a little kid, and I recommended that we just replace the whole harness because I don't know how much damage this has done. So we are going to get the body off here, pull the gas tank and handlebars off, and we're going to put a whole new complete harness on this thing, and we will make sure we can get this running for this little boy again. So just hang out with me for a little bit. We'll get this thing going. Alright, we're ready to start tearing this harness off of here. One thing I want to note on this is specifically the Coolster model. To get the handlebars out in one piece without taking your whole controls apart or anything, there's this front piece here that sits on here like this, and you can see where the screws underneath hold it all together. So they come from the underneath side, and there's two all the way up underneath the gas tank, so you gotta like lift the body up in the back and get a long screwdriver and get those screws out there. And the only thing that I had to disconnect from the harness itself was the ignition switch, which is a 4-wire plug, and the brake light there. So in the back, so you can see it hanging there. So I will keep in mind that my connectors here for my brake light, and my ignition switch is right here. Alright guys, I took the liberty upon myself to cut all the zip ties that are holding this thing on and kind of just show you how this thing's laid in here. We got one going all the way to the back for your tail light, your negative wire, which comes down and grounds the frame, and also all your green wires will tap into that same ground, so it's all getting grounded right here. So right here is your voltage regulator, and it's a 4-wire plug. You got a red and a white and a green and a yellow. Hey, be quiet. Anyways, positive wire, which will hook to your battery, and it'll have a fused wire coming off of it, and it'll run all the way up to the front here. This little black box is like your remote cut off. It's got like a lot of these come with like a remote to like a key fob to kill the engine or lock it. So that's what that black box is, and it comes this connector here. This goes down to your brake switch. It's a green and yellow and black wire down there to light up your brake lights. And you have one more connector in here, right here. And this goes to your starter solenoid. And you'll have on the other side of your solenoid a wire that runs straight to the starter here. So For your solenoid, it'll be a red wire. This wire here will go from the battery to the solenoid. There's 2 posts on your solenoid, and from the other side of the solenoid goes from your solenoid to your starter. All it is a switch. When you hit your button, it transfers 12 volts to the starter. So, as we move forward, you got your coil wire, coil plug here. That dirt bike that needs valves on it because it's
clickety clack.
Clickety clacking.
Towel's back.
Clickety clack. The towel's back. My dog's about to go nuts.
Good evening.
Wow. Anyways, black and white and green. That's your coil wire. This one we already talked about. This solenoid, and it's the yellow and red and pink. And then your stator connector here. I think the biggest difference in these plugs is Coolster has this real fancy plug with all these rubber grommets in it. So if you got a Coolster, look at the model number and order the appropriate wiring harness. Moving forward, right here is your all your controls on your handlebar. So your kill switch, start switch, headlight switch, all that. And branches off to your CDI here. That's with this black box. And going further up, your headlight connector. That's 1 bulb. And this actually has a spare plug in it for the dual headlight setup. So I'm guessing this is a universal harness that's on here. So one of these would go to each bulb if there's 2 headlights. Then we covered that one. That's your ignition switch. And this here is a safety switch. When you pull your brake lever, you hear a click, and so it starts. So that's just a safety there. So that's all the plugs. So we will go ahead and start disconnecting and see if this thing will run. Alright, I'm just going to work on fishing this out here. So brake switch, disconnect that. Disconnect the stator. There, coil. Solenoid. Disconnect this one from the voltage regulator. Don't forget your grounding point down here. Magical black box. It's only got 3 wires. It's got like a 9-pin connector, but there's only 3 wires in it. It's weird. I don't know why they do that. Transfer over here. Get our CDI off of here, and it just hangs right here. And that's it. Our harness is off, and we can start routing in our new one. Something I like to do, I think they tape these things up so they don't get all tangled up, but this is just holding your positive and negative wires in. So up here, headlight, 4-pin, that's your ignition switch. This time this goes forward. This one in the middle picks up your stator, your coil, and all this stuff runs in the back. So I need to get my positive wire. It's going to go from the battery to the solenoid. So I need to get access to the solenoid, take the old battery wire off. This one here that's all burned up, and I just yank the connector off of and put the new one on it. And this end will hook to your battery. Right here. So we'll work on that real quick. Keep this harness out of the way. I'll have the 2 posts on it. So we want to find the old battery wire, which is this one right here with the red plug on it. We're going to take that off and put our new battery cable on there. This other side will run from here to the starter. Alrighty, so we got our battery cable hooked up to our solenoid. And get all fancied up, put these over the terminals like they should be, and you'll just fit down back in this rubber boot. I'm gonna feed this and try to make it look as pretty as possible. We'll start with the easy stuff first. We know the 4-wire goes to your voltage regulator, so we can go ahead and plug that in right now. Hey. Here's the old clickety clack. Yeah, that's good. This ground's gonna run. This is your other battery terminal here. It's gonna run straight down to the frame when we took it off earlier. So we can go ahead and put that back on. Okay, so now our battery, our positive and negative wires are hooked up. We talked earlier, this one's going to run back here to the tail light. This is your brake switch, the green and yellow and black, and these match, the color codes match, so we can go ahead and put that together. The tail light kind of just hangs out here in the back. Here's our 3-wire. Anything with a black, that's black with the white stripe is safety. So just looking at this plug, we talked about it earlier, it's a 9-wire plug, but only has 3 in it. That goes to our little cutoff box here. Plug that in. Here's your antenna wire that hangs off the connector. This one hanging out back here, yellow with red, means power. So we'll look for that one for our solenoid. And this one's red with yellow, yellow with red. This goes together. Just like that. Yellow and black will go with your coil. This coil runs down the frame right here, so we'll hook those together. Hard to mess this one up. This is your stator plug. It plugs in just like that, and that's it for the back side. We'll come up further. Talked earlier about lights. There's 2 different connectors here for lights. I'll only use one of them because there's only one headlight. Ignition switch, CDI. This is one we're looking for. So we can run this right down here. Hook this into our CDI box. Like that, and we'll hang our box back on there. This one's going to stay out because the ignition switch is with the body. Next one, our big connector here, will be for our handlebar control. Plug that in. Another green with a yellow stripe and black. That's all the way to the front. Handlebar safety switch. Just plug that up there. So our only connector left would be a spare headlight connector and ignition switch, which is good because that's what the body, and our tail light, which is with the body as well. So we have everything connected up. So I will go ahead and get this all prettied up and nice and neat, and you can start with the body going back on. Since I do have the body off and it's easier this way, I'm going to take a look at this carburetor for this guy. I have a new one sitting up there for it if it needs it, but I'm going to try to clean it. Also need to change the oil, so before I put that body on, I'm going to go do those things real quick. Alright, harness is all hooked up. Got my signature orange zip ties holding everything together. Cool thing about these, they're reusable. That's why I use them. So I put a brand new carburetor on it because they gave me one, and the old one was a little bit too far gone. So got a new one on. Change the oil, and I'm going to put the body back on it, and we'll throw you on a time lapse for that, and we will fire it up. Hey, it's me, Biker. Alright guys, we got it all buttoned back up. New wiring harness in, batteries in, new carburetor. Changed the oil in it. Moment of truth. Let's see if she fires up. Key on. Brake light works, that's good. BJ there. Alright y'all, as always, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope this video helped you guys, whether you're replacing the harness or trying to troubleshoot. You get to see the colors and what goes where. So be sure to subscribe below. I forget what I was gonna say. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.